the next data structure that we are going to study is called as a map. So let me create a variable called as my map. Now in the last video we saw how to create a tuple, and for creating a tuple we normally use the curly brackets, and for creating a map we simply add a % symbol. So maps are more like your dictionaries in your Python. These maps are also your key and value kind of a data structure. But maps offer a lot of features as compared to your tuple or your keyword list. Inside maps, we can use different data types for our keys. But right now, let us see how we can use an atom for our key. So we can simply say a colon and 1. Then let us add one more element, b, and let us add one more, c and 3. So this is how you can create a map. And what happens is when you use a tuple for your key, at that time we can use the dot notation. I will show you shortly what I mean by the dot notation, but right now let us see how the map looks like, and we get the map back. Next we can use our pattern matching to extract values. So here let me create a map, and inside the map we can pattern match on the key of A, and let us collect the value inside a variable called as first. Next we can pattern match with B, and let us collect the value inside second. And for the last one we can use the variable of third, and let us pattern match with the variable of my map, and let us see the value inside the variable of first, and let us try to evaluate, and we get the right answer back. Well, maps are a very convenient data structure. Suppose if you want to extract only the second value, you don't have to use the entire map. Instead, we can do something like this. So let me just show you. Let us create a map, and let us say that we simply want to pattern match on the key of B, and let us collect the value inside second, and let us pattern match with our map of my map, and let us see the value inside second, and as you can see we get the right answer back. So it's not mandatory to create the entire map to pattern match. Instead we can create a shorter map with just the required elements. So here we are simply pattern matching on the key of B, and we are collecting the value inside the variable of second. The next thing is, since we are using atoms for our keys, we can use our dot notation to access the values. So let us create a code block, and we can say my map dot a, and let us try to evaluate, and we get the answer back. But if we have a different data type, for example if we have a string for the key values, then you can't use the dot notation. Let us create one more map, and let me call it as map2, and let us create our map right over here. Now if you plan to use a string as your key, then we need to write them inside quotes because they are strings. And since we are using a data type which is not an atom for the key, we need to use the arrow notation, and here we can assign the value as 1. Next let us create one more key for B. Again remember, since the key is not an atom, we are using the arrow brackets. Here we can assign the value of 2, and we can create the last one C, and let us assign the value of 3, and let us evaluate the cell, and we get our map back. Next we can use the same pattern matching techniques. So for example, if we want to extract the value of C, then let us create a map, and since this time the keys are strings, let us pattern match right over here, and let's say that we want to collect the value inside a variable called as C, and let us pattern match with our map number 2, and let us see the value inside the variable of C, and we get the right value back. Elixir provides a lot of inbuilt features for working with our maps. So if we go back to our terminal, and if I enter map and dot the tab, we can see that we have a lot of different features. For example, if you want to fetch something, or if you want to create a new map, or if you want to replace some values, or if you want to update some values, so we can do a lot of things with the map. But for now let me show you a very easy method of updating our map. So let us create a new code block, and suppose we want to update the value of C from 3 to 4, then we can say that we want to update the value of our map, and the variable name is map 2, and then we can use the pipe operator, and then we can say that we want to update the value of c from 3 to 4, and let us bind the value of this back to our variable of map of 2, and let us try to evaluate and see what kind of output we are getting. And as you can see, we have updated the value of c. Now we are using this arrow notation because we have strings for our key values, but in case if we have atoms, then we can simply use the colons. So let me show you. So we have another map by the name of my map, and then we can say that we want to update my map, and this time we want to update the value of c, and since c is just an atom, we can use the regular notation, and we can say that we want to update the value to 4. Let us try to evaluate, and we get the updated value back. Well, that's it for this video. This was a very short introduction to maps, and we will learn much more how to work with maps as we progress in the tutorials. The next video is all about structs in Elixir.